Hello, people. It's your boy Usmaan. I'm back again with another match preview. It's not any preview. It's Manchester United against Arsenal, the battle of the bottom half teams. Right about this one. You know, I used to be battling for title, battling for trophies. I look around 11 and 15, respectively. Oh, God, both clubs are falling, but it is what it is. Listen, as always, make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel. We will be back tomorrow with, not tomorrow, actually, Sunday, sorry, with a watch-along, as always, so you can, just tune in and watch me cry as we pass the ball away every 5 seconds. But today, we are always joined by Was in the Manchester United corner. Was, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good as usual. I'm always good, man. I'm always good.
You're always super positive in it, boy. It is what it is. And also, we are joined by the Arsenal corner. We have got Ahmed and Tom to represent. How are we doing, boys?
We're good. Chilling. Just chilling.
And how are you feeling,
you're muted. You're muted.
Yeah, Tom, you're muted still.
Professionality. That's what it is.
You love it. You love it. It's class. Listen, boys. As always, the first question I was asked, for the match preview is, how are you feeling going into the game? For me personally, on the back of our win, I don't want to get too happy because it's one of them. Was as a football fan, you're expecting something, and then your team just doesn't turn up, and then it just hurts. It just hurts way more than you should do, really. But for me personally, surely the players are confident going into the game. 5-0 win against RB Leipzig, boys. 5-0. It looks like he's got a bit of tactics. We know that much. He might not be Pep Guardiola, but he's got something in the locker. But listen, we'll come to you first and foremost, right? Because obviously we talk on the reg. What are your thoughts going into this game? How are you feeling, bro?
I'm going to surprise your regular fans, but I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit nervous. I'm a bit nervous.
No,
yeah, man.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie, man. It's just the way that we've been turning up against the big teams. We're going to class Man United as a big team. I know you think that we're lesser than you. We're not lesser than you. Let me just make that correction. Yeah, you did. Your last video. Yesterday. This guy. Nah.
Oh, did you watch the video?
Yeah, joker. You're back chatting. All right. Yeah, no, on a level though. The way that we turned up against the big teams like Man City and Liverpool, we gave like too much respect to them. We didn't look like we weren't fearless, and I don't want them to turn up with that sort of attitude against Man United, especially against Rashford, because obviously Rashford is looking like a real force right now. So that's I'm a little bit nervous. I want to say I'm confident, but I would expect I'm not gonna get into it for now, but yeah, I'm a bit nervous. So I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, so to be honest with you, like I already said, I think for every single one of these big games, you don't want to predict it. Look, at the end of the day, look what happened with Aston Villa. Look what against Liverpool. Look what happened with Man United against Spurs. I was going to our Spurs game thinking it'll be a tight game, and then we just got our pants pulled down fully. I got absolutely hammered. So that's why I'm not trying to get ahead of myself. I know with this Man United team in particular, we love a great win in Europa League, Champions League, and then it's Champions League, and then obviously we come back down to earth on the weekend. We just can't seem to put it together in the Premier League at the moment. What are your thoughts going to this game? It's a silly question asking you, really, isn't it? But what are your thoughts, mate?
I mean, I'm going to surprise you as well a bit. I'm not nervous or anything. I'm actually quite confident as usual. But the thing is with these kind of games at Arsenal, when we play Arsenal or sometimes Liverpool, I think form goes out the window. It don't matter what form you are prior to the, whatever the season. When something happens in that game, I think it comes down to the players' mentality and their level of I don't know. I can't get the word out. But basically, I think it's down to players if they want it or not. The good thing with Arteta and obviously Solskjaer, they played in these kind of games as well. So they know that they can transfer that to the players. Now, for me, which players take that on board the most, I think. It's going to come down to that. I think the rest of it, United after that 5-0 win, I'm buzzing after that because RB Leipzig are an amazing team and an amazing manager as well. So you're going to be confident. But then again, with Arsenal, you never know. I don't want to get too cocky because the fans are just going to destroy us, isn't it? Vice versa, we do the same to you guys. I'm confident. I am confident after the RB Leipzig the game. I've seen enough to say that we're going to do well.
Am I right in thinking Arteta's only played us once, and obviously it was a 2-0 win? Is that correct?
I believe so.
2-0.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's the only one.
Yeah.
Drew, I'm sure Emery was still there. Like, it was
Emery, we drew against. I'm pretty sure.
So
yeah.
I'm sure. So I think Arteta's only played us once, and you beat us quite emphatically. To be fair.
No, but I meant about as a player as well. Did he play?
I thought that's what I thought you were asking as a player.
I don't know if Arteta's played for Arsenal against Man United. He probably has at some point.
Yeah, but I mean, you know the meaning of the game, the magnitude of it.
Yeah, well, obviously you're gonna know the meaning of the game. Anyways, he was in the Premier League for a long time. Anyways, at Everton, so everyone knows about Man United, Arsenal, especially the era he was playing. So. Regarding that, I think a lot of the players know what it means. You know, some of the Arsenal players that have been there for long enough to know what it means, as well as the Man United players. But Tom, just bringing it to you in terms of your general sort of feeling going into the game. You know, of course, you know you won yesterday. Man United won in the week as well. Yeah, how are you feeling now after the set results?
I was feeling a lot more confident until you smashed Leipzig. I will say that. I was feeling a bit like maybe this is sort of where Arsenal can end this horrific run, because, as you know, Arsenal have not won an away game against a big
2006
club.
Yeah. Old Trafford.
At Old Trafford, it's been mad the amount of time we've not done it. But even against like the big 6 sides, we've not won away from home since 2015, which is, when you think about how many times, I think this will be the 29th game since we won 2-0 at Manchester City in 2015. So it's that. I looked at this game as arguably one of the biggest opportunities that we would get to possibly pick up a win in, because both teams are still got weaknesses. Both teams have got vulnerabilities that you've seen it kind of this season, where both teams have dropped points in games where you wouldn't have expected them to, like Arsenal with the Leicester home game. Leicester in such bad form, and the amount of injuries they had, I thought we would win that game, and ultimately they stole it away from us. And then, I mean, United have picked up some sort of fortunate points against, say, Brighton away from home right at the end with the penalty, and then drop points in other games. So it was one of the games I was sort of targeting, thinking, I think Arsenal could end their really horrific run away here. But it's been a case of Arsenal always go to these games passively. Like, we always play defensively away from home. And that's the thing that needs to change. I feel like if a team attacks Man United at the moment, that's where the vulnerabilities will be exposed. But I just don't trust Arsenal to do that in this game.
To be honest with you, first and foremost, I'm expecting you to sit back with 5. I'm not going to lie. That's what I'm expecting from Arsenal, which isn't what you would affiliate with an Arsenal team. But in saying that, you know, what's the right thing to do? As you've already mentioned, you've not won under 3-4 managers since 2015, and clearly Wenger's sort of go-home approach hasn't worked away from home anyway. So by all means, make sure. But I actually disagree with you, Tom. There, I do think if you attack us, you're going to get beat. Like, generally, if you attack us in terms of you open up the game and give us enough space, I think that's going to be the biggest mistake you can make. I think he has to not part the bus, but be as compact as you possibly can and get Aubameyang running in behind. Because Maguire and Lindelof, for me personally, dealing with Aubameyang, I really hope Transavier's playing. I don't think he will be. But that is my worry. Like that ball over the top in the channel where Lindelof has to go and try to get across to Aubameyang or Maguire, whoever gets across first. That is my worry. I think if you try to go for us, I think this is the problem. And I think Arteta might fall into this category of, I think if we didn't beat RB Leipzig, he would have, in the sense that Man United were there for the taking. And there's not many better teams in the league than us on the counter-attack. Like, generally in the league, I think we've got to be top 2. Like, I think we might even be best team. Like, you saw against RB Leipzig at the end of that game. Obviously, a lot of our games came in the last goals came in the last 20 minutes. We absolutely destroyed them because they gave us a bit of space, and we just literally killed them. And that's what we can do to anybody. We've done it against PSG. We've done it against RB Leipzig. You've got to remember, these two are top teams as well. They're not shit teams. We did it to Man City last season as well, twice in the league. We've done it to Chelsea on numerous occasions. Chelsea parked the bus against us, which is why we didn't score. So I personally think you need to do something similar. Not as defensive as Chelsea were, but offer something on the break, obviously, with Aubameyang in particular. And I would probably play Pepe. I don't think he will, but I personally would play Pepe if I was him. But Mo, what do you... not Mo. Ahmed, what do you reckon? I was about to say Musin. Ahmed, what do you reckon, bro, in terms of how you should approach the game?
I think you're there for the taking in terms of, like, for your defence. You know, I want to get out your defence, but I know that we're a bit suspect, if we do play a bit expansive. So it's not even like what I want, or it's what I expect Arteta's going to do, which is to play like a hybrid 5 in the back, and then maybe change it up to like a 4 in the back if we're going forward. But what I want to see is Aubameyang play in the middle. That's all I want to see. Then I'll be happy. And then let Saka play on the left with either Pepe or Willian or even Nelson.
I think Willian's gonna play this game, to be honest.
He'll start just to like get some minutes out of the way, get a bit of stability in. But then Pepe will come on. It's just when is it gonna be 80 minutes or 70 or is it gonna be like 60 minutes or 55? So it's gonna be probably 5 at the back. That's what I expect with Arteta. Keeping it safe, isn't he?
Now, to be honest, I'm expecting him to do that. In saying that, a lot of times when we expect something from a manager, they'll just flip the script and he'll go full press and catch us off break. One thing I will say is that, you said that we're definitely taking in terms of a defence. I do agree our defence is shit. Like, I don't think any United fans are going to sit and say, oh, our defence is amazing on the back of a couple of good performances defensively. However, what I will say is, if you do come onto us a lot and try to keep the ball, like RB Leipzig tried to do, I think you're going to fall into a trap. Because
I get that.
Because Martial's not going to be playing. You got to bear in mind because he's at the ban. So that means Rashford would have started anyways at the back of our trick. But Rashford and Greenwood are going to be up top, and they're very.
What about Mata though? What about Mata? Is he going to still play or what?
He's not playing.
Why?
I think it's going to be. Obviously, we're going to lineups a bit later, but I don't think Mata is going to be playing personally. I can't see how he gets into that starting lineup if Van der Beek is struggling to get in personally. We've got one done in the comments saying, "Blessings, bro. Appreciate my G." Listen, what do you think in terms of approach? Obviously, both the lads have said here that they want Arsenal to attack us. What are your thoughts on that?
That'll be a massive mistake because. You saw PSG. They pretty much only got one way to play with Mbappe and Neymar, and they just couldn't get through. They, like you said, you had to switch sides, isn't it? Neymar, you had to switch sides, and Mbappe and all that.
Yeah.
So RB Leipzig as well. They had the same problem. They had loads of possession at the start. I say first 20 minutes, and they tried to break us down and trying to move the ball around. But I think it all depends on our formation. If we play, the diamond and stuff. I think that could work really well for us, but I don't fear Arsenal at all. I don't think they got any threat.
We don't fear you either, bro. Go on.
The only thing I give respect to is probably Aubameyang, but they're using him wrong as well. They just don't. Arteta doesn't know how to get the best out of him, and players like Pepe, I rate Pepe as well, but he doesn't even get a game. Ozil, where the hell's Ozil? So if Ozil were playing, at least he can unlock something. That guy doesn't even get a shot. So I don't really fear them, and I don't think we're going to struggle with them at all. With Rashford on form as well. So, what else I can say is I'm just really confident. I'm really confident.
Right, okay. What a shock, you're confident. Right, Tom, what do you reckon? Because obviously you said you doesn't fear Arsenal. Tell us what we should be feeling, really, because at the end of the day, I'm one of those people that I've just been burnt by Spurs 6-1. So I even come on 2-1 prior to the game. I wrote it after the game, if we're obviously happened, what I got in it. But so Tom, what do you reckon? He's saying he doesn't fear us. What are the threats from Arsenal?
I'm not surprised to say that at all, to be honest, because as I mentioned before, the record we've got away from home against these sides and yourselves, of course, as long back as 2006 is mad. It's crazy. So I'm not surprised you don't fear us. What I would say is I think it would be naive to say that Aubameyang is the only threat. I think you're forgetting now that between the two of us, Arsenal have got the best centre midfielder in Thomas Partey. There isn't a United midfielder that stacks up to the quality of Thomas Partey at all. He's arguably. I'm thinking about centre midfield.
He's not ready. He's not ready. Yeah, he's got a bit of time.
He's not bad.
I don't know what you mean by not ready, because he's played for Atletico Madrid at the top level for several seasons. It doesn't take this sort of player in the prime of his career at 27 years of age, who's played on the international stage in Champions Leagues, to be ready in transition. The physicality of the man. I'd understand if it was someone more technical and that's coming in from another league that has to deal with the physicality of the Premier League. But you're talking about an intelligent muscle player. Like, this isn't someone that's just physical. This guy knows how to play the game. This guy knows the right runs, the right passes to play. The issue that Arsenal have had, and we saw it against Leicester, is they didn't give him the bloody ball. They didn't pass the ball to Partey at all. So it's not going to be down to Partey's failings if he doesn't come up against United in the way that I expect him to. It would be down to the players that don't pass him the ball. But I look at Pogba. I mean, Van der Beek. I was really frustrated with United signing Van der Beek, for instance, because watching him at Ajax and in the Champions League, he's an excellent player, and I thought it was a really good signing. However, he's not being played. I would fear Van der Beek as any opposition fan would if he was starting at the number 10 role. He's not. You've got Bruno Fernandes there, and I fear him as well. I love the player. I've got a Sporting shirt of his name on the back. I loved him when he was at Sporting. But the issues is that you kind of got too many players in these positions that aren't fluid enough and aren't sort of set in stone to know what the best 11 for Manchester United is at the moment. Greenwood, is he a wide player? Is he a striker? If he's not played in that right position, are you going to get the best out of him? Rashford's a very similar example because you got Martial obviously suspended, which means that he probably will play in that striking role. It's the United sort of team selection really confuses me at times, and sort of the balance of the squads I feel a bit off. It doesn't mean that you won't beat us, but it's just about how you kind of put together that perfect Man United team. And I think if it's got wrong, that will ultimately be the downfall, not just in this game, but over the course of a season.
I hear what you're saying in terms of balance of squad, because of course, we haven't got a natural CDM. You mentioned Partey, again, a massive fan of Partey, so I'm not going to discredit his ability. I don't think he needs time to settle in, to be honest. To be honest, he's come from one of the most intense managers on the planet. And Simeone, that guy demands that utmost from all of his players. So if you can do it for Simeone, you can do it for absolutely anyone in terms of work rate. But in terms of our midfield balance, I think Oli is finally I'm saying this, but the last couple of games, in particular, the game against Chelsea, I suppose, obviously the game against RB Leipzig, and the game prior, I don't even know who we beat, actually, prior to that. Was it Newcastle? I can't remember. Yeah, it was in Newcastle. PSG, sorry, what I'm talking about. PSG, sorry. Ollie's changed the system on numerous occasions. He's finally kind of adopted the diamond for me personally, right? Against RB Leipzig, that was the most complete performance I've seen us play. Not because of the scoreline, because you've got to remember, I don't know if either of you watched the game or not, but we're up against one of the best pressing teams in the world there in RB Leipzig. The way Nagelsmann's got them playing, they're relentless. Obviously, in terms of quality and technical ability, yes, they're not the greatest, but in terms of a pressing unit, they're one of the best, and we made them look shit in the first half for large periods. For the first 30 minutes, the way we were beating the press consistently. They were hitting us with a counter press. We were beating that as well. We were getting through, and it was a different sort of dynamic that I've not seen in our game. We were keeping the ball well. We were playing the ball through the lines very efficiently. Yes, granted, some people were playing it away cheaply, but to come back to your point that you just made is Pogba was in the right position for the first time. He was playing left centre mid. Fred, McTominay and Matic absolutely bossed that midfield. And obviously Van der Beek, as you've also mentioned, was at the tip of the diamond. For me personally, all we've got to do is take Martial out because, of course, of his ban, put Greenwood up front with Rashford, and then put Bruno in for Van der Beek, and then probably McTominay and Fred. That's it. I suppose that's like 3 changes. But in terms of the fluid formation, if you actually watch the highlights of the RB Leipzig game, we were sensational. Like, generally, I've got so many rival fans messaging me for the first time saying, bloody hell, like, where the hell has that performance been? Like, where has it even come from? Even as a United fan myself, I'm generally like shocked that we could perform to that level under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer against a very good team. So I hear what you're saying. If it wasn't for the RB Leipzig game, I probably wouldn't be saying this, to be honest with you. But that game showed me that we have got it in our locker. It's whether he plays a similar system. And if he plays that similar system, I think in terms of midfield battle, you guys tell me who do you think is going to win. Ahmed, what do you reckon in terms of the midfield battle? Let's just say we play with the diamond. We've got 4 midfield. So we got McTominay, Fred with the engine room. Like Fred played like Kante basically in terms of his performance. And then we've got Bruno and Pogba with the creativity as a 4 midfield with Rashford and Greenwood up top. Like, what are your thoughts on that as a lineup?
Look, if I was going to compare Man United's midfield to Arsenal's midfield, it's a no-brainer. You guys got the better midfielders. It's no doubt about it. Especially when we've got a non-existent Ozil in our squad. We've got no midfielders. We're using a winger to potentially make him our number 10. Ceballos, I rate him, but I won't say he's like up there. Partey is, but obviously Partey, he's not really like gelled into the team yet. So we're not really like seeing what he can actually offer us for our team. So I think Ollie's got the easier job than Arteta for this game. That's all I'm gonna say, because I reckon you guys will.
You've been slagging Ollie all the time. Don't be saying that now.
Let me tell you why though. Your team, you got a better team on average. Yeah, we got a world class striker. You guys haven't. We got a world class keeper.
What did you say?
Are you saying like this guy thinks Leno's like top 3 in the world or something?
Listen.
Like,
no, what? I didn't say top 3, bro. What do you mean? This guy. Yo, it's top tier, bro.
Leno's not better than De Gea. He's never been better than De Gea.
Bro, De Gea's on a decline, whereas Leno's on the uprise.
De Gea's been fantastic this season. That's how you know you're not watching.
He's had a good few moments. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna like this. And this season's not been as bad as last season. But what?
Okay,
No. Once upon a time, you can say that. Once upon a time, you can say that. Once upon a time. On a level though, like realistically, your midfield will probably bust us. I think Partey will give you guys a good fight, but like I would, if El Nene's playing with Xhaka and Partey, it kind of just shows like Arteta's mindset, like how defensive he wants to be against you guys. But I think that can actually handle your midfield. But if you put Ceballos in, then obviously I don't know if we're going to dominate that midfield. Probably be you guys. But yeah, man.
Yeah, I personally think he's going to go for Xhaka, Partey, and El Nene, to be honest. To be fair, Ceballos can't start. Don't get me wrong. He's done well in big games. To be fair to him, he's been one of the few players alongside Saka. He's been one of the few players that you could say, on what he's actually he can leave with his head high, so to speak. I've heard a lot of Arsenal fans say Saka and Ceballos in particular have done well in big games. I think for me personally, if you go that defensive, then okay, granted, you might frustrate us, but you need to have something going the other way, man, because you're going to get frustrated. For me personally.
Wait. Partey can offer something going forward, and so can El Nene, and even Xhaka with the passes. They can still deliver something.
But like Tom said, he doesn't get the ball. He's not going to pass.
That's the problem.
Oh, he had a bit of time to train now, hasn't he? So against the
it's not
game,
nothing to do with training. It's like
it is getting to know.
Madrid, bro. He's some of the best midfielders with Saul Niguez and Koke, and these bowlers there. No, what I'm saying, he doesn't need training. He's ready. He's not training.
It needs time to play with the lads, yeah. So they know on the same wavelength. That's all I was talking about.
Right, obviously, in terms of midfield, what are your thoughts? Who would you go for Man United?
Yeah, pretty much what you mentioned earlier on. In fact, Scott McTominay, Fred, and Bruno and Pogba as a four, a diamond kind of formation. I mean, Van de Beek was really, really good. He wasn't really he didn't get much of the passes or anything like that, but when he did get the ball, he wasn't wasteful. He made something happen, like quick give and go, and just threw balls, and just he was like 100% like economical with it. So for that, it was really, really good. But I mean, I think Bruno is going to be the key. If Arsenal sit back, then we've got Bruno, Pogba to maybe drive into their back four, like he was doing the other day, and causing problems, and then Bruno just to thread that ball through to someone like Greenwood or Rashford, or even take a shot himself. That's going to cause havoc. And then you got Fred and McTominay sitting. I think the midfield battle, we're just going to win it. I think we're going to outnumber them as well, and out strengthen them as well. But I know about Partey. He's a really good player, but I don't think he's going to take a bit of time to gel, because I personally wanted Partey for Man United as well as a CDM for Matic. I really, really wanted him. He's like one of my top of my list. And when you guys got him, I was like, oh, bloody hell, not Arsenal. But he's going to take a bit of time. But I don't know if Arteta's going to use him to maybe his capability, because if you, like Usmaan was saying, if you don't have players like he did have Atletico by his side, like the Koke and San Niguez, he's gonna struggle. Do you know what I mean? I think they expect too much from him, and I don't know if he can deliver well, because it'll be too much on his shoulders. So I think he'll take a bit of time. Hopefully, he does take a bit of time. But the players around him, I'm not sure they can cope with the Man United's midfield. You know, we're just on fire, man, and that's where the match is going to be won. So I'm pretty confident in that department. We'll do well.
Yeah, we'll just sit back and soak in the pressure. Don't worry. We'll smash and grab.
I hope you don't.
If you do that, that's the downfall as well, because we've got a place to unlock, mate.
No, I don't think it's the downfall. I think they need to sit back. I think they need to sit back and counter with Aubameyang, and potentially Willian, really. Tom, what do you reckon?
Or Pepe.
I don't think Pepe will ever start this game, to be honest. He just doesn't trust him. No, not because he's a bad player. He just doesn't trust him.
Confidence.
Again, nothing to do with confidence. He just doesn't trust him in defensive duties. Like, it's not to do. He just scored an absolute banger yesterday. He's not going to be low on confidence. On his weak foot as well, by the way. Stanchion as well.
He looks pretty low on confidence, man.
He's a confidence player, so obviously if he's feeling good, he's going to play good.
Every time I've seen him play recently, he was the guy who won you the Sheffield United game. He came on, it was the impact. He obviously was involved with the first goal, which was brilliant by Arsenal, and then he got the second goal, which was an individual goal for him, and then he doesn't get played. So it's like, I don't know what Arteta's doing with him, to be honest. He needs to chuck him in and just allow him to have a run of games, because he's one, like you said, he's a confidence player. If he keeps chopping and changing him, like Jose did with Fred, he's not going to get an opportunity to flourish. And terrible. Pepe is quality, and he violated us last season as well.
Luke Short.
Yeah. So, and it's against him again. So I
won that again, man.
I don't want him to play personally, man. But Tom, listen, what are your thoughts? Obviously, Wazza said that we're going to win the midfield battle. Obviously, you've spoken about not getting the ball to Partey. Not just Partey, but in terms of other players, who do you think is going to be the most influential for Arsenal in this game?
It really depends on where Aubameyang plays. I feel like he's been questioned on it in terms of his press conferences if he's going to play Aubameyang through the middle. He's been kind of coy about it. He seemingly wants to trust Lacazette to kind of hold the ball up, especially in these sort of games. We went to Manchester City, we went to Liverpool, and like I said, the reason why I thought we needed to go for you is because I get what you're saying about kind of needing to sit back and absorb pressure and hit on the brake. The issue with that is that when we do that, we create very few chances. And the issue with Arsenal right now is they're not taking the chances that they're creating. You're seeing Lacazette miss key chances against both Liverpool and Man City. We saw Aubameyang and Saka miss key chances.
Missed one against Leicester as well. That opened the
Yeah, huge one. He technically did score what I thought was a perfectly good goal.
I don't think it was a goal. I'll be honest with you. I don't think it was a goal.
Why? Xhaka was avoiding the ball.
No. Because the goalkeeper technically, I'm not saying the goalkeeper would have saved it, but hypothetically speaking, if you want to dive forward, you couldn't because Xhaka's blocking him. So he could have dived to meet the ball if you want to. I'm not saying he would have done that.
No.
But he is technically.
I think it's just harsh, man. It's just harsh. Okay, carry on, Tom. Carry on.
You're gonna cry.
Yo, listen. You guys get penalties every week, and we can't get a right position. What is it?
Did you see it?
No, I'm a hater.
You know how pissed off I was that we got that pen? Martial's clean one-on-one, he needed a bloody goal, and some prick comes and hacks him. Like, what?
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
Like, do you know what I mean?
But I'm talking about the Premier League, though, innit? Not the Champions League.
Even then, if you watch the pens we get...
I mean, we're going to get 3 penalties. I know Bruno's going to score a hat-trick in penalties.
That's exactly what's going on.
I might get my fancy football now, Bruno.
David Luiz gives a pen to. I would not be surprised.
David Luiz, bro.
He's not playing.
I was gonna keep quiet until later on, but I've got Mustafi playing. That's why I'm nervous. Mustafi, exactly.
Because watching Arsenal on TV, they were saying they're not sure about David Luiz if he's fully.
Luiz is out for about 3 weeks.
Not sure.
Oh, is he? Sorry, I haven't checked up.
Yes.
Right. Okay, so obviously that does change the dynamic. I don't know why you guys are so bloody confident. Then we've got Rashford.
I was nervous. That's what I said.
That's really making you nervous. What?
Yeah, Mustafi, man.
Man got done by bloody Vardy. He's come back from bloody God knows how much months off, and you got Rashford to find the hat-trick.
Yo, I mean, I would not come on this podcast if I knew Mustafi was in my back line.
If Mustafi fucking scores, he's not going to be texting us that.
Probably
mate, imagine that from a corner. You never know, man.
You never know. Tom, just to come back to you in terms of Arsenal's biggest threat, so to speak, going forward in this game.
It's, as I said, the key threats of Aubameyang, isn't it? He's not scored too many, though, to be fair, this season. He's got 2 so far. And
he's got 1, hasn't he? Oh, you're about
he scored in the Europa League as well.
Yeah, sorry.
If he starts up front, the thing is, when he starts up front, like in these big games, the problem is that he gets very isolated. If he starts on the wing, like you saw against City and Chelsea in the FA Cup last season, and he gets those balls in behind from Kieran Tierney, that's where he looks really deadly. Yeah. It depends on the system that Arteta plays. If he goes for 3-4-3, which I have a fear that he will, and then we'll just create barely any chances, then there's the option that he could get in behind. But if we go with the 4-2-3-1, which we can do, the biggest question about that one is who plays at 10. And your midfield diamond, as you describe it, if it does come to fruition, you will win that midfield battle. If Arsenal go with the 3-4-3, then it's more sort of measured. And the thing is with Arsenal is that you could win a midfield battle against Arsenal quite easily, but the biggest area that you need to watch for Arsenal is the wide areas, which isn't really anything, which can bypass the midfield quite easily. So once you get past the midfield in those wide areas, you've then got the option to get the cutbacks from Tierney and Bellerin if they're playing. But it's going to be about taking chances. If our strikers are on form, we've got a good chance. I think we'll create 2 or 3 clear-cut chances in the game. But if you don't take those, then United will have us for dinner.
Yeah, you know what? This is why. Yeah, so we're go on, Usmaan.
No, go on.
Yeah, this is why I was going to say, I want Saka to play on the left to go up against Wan-Bissaka. I don't want Aubameyang to be wasted on the left.
You want Wan-Bissaka to knock his confidence like that? You think Saka's going to get the best out of Wan-Bissaka? Neymar had to swap wings, brother, to get any joy.
Listen.
As well.
Listen, I'm happy for Saka to go up against him and whip some balls in for Aubameyang in the middle and let Willian play outright. Yeah, I want to see that, man. I want to see that.
You'll have to whip it from the halfway line because you ain't getting any further, mate.
So, as honest to God, generally, Wan-Bissaka is an absolute joke. Like, I can't believe he's that good defensive 1-on-1. It's ridiculous. That man was 1v1 against Mbappe so many times, and he just dealt with him, which is unheard of, really. But obviously, Tom, you spoke about, in terms of what you think Arteta would do. What would you do personally? Let's go through the lineups, and obviously we can go into the Man United strengths and how we can hurt you, etc. afterwards. But let's go through everyone's preferred lineups, and then obviously we'll discuss further. So you've spoken a lot about what Arteta would do, but what would you do personally if you were in charge, Tom?
If you want me, like 1 to 11, Leno in goal, obviously. I'd go back 4 still. I still think we go for that because I just think we're not clinical enough right now to risk playing with a defensive passive movement against you guys. So I go for the back 4 with Bellerin. It has to be Mustafi. I suppose it doesn't have to be. I'd throw Saliba in this game just to see what the guy's about, to be honest. Anything over Mustafi at the moment. Gabriel has been arguably our best signing over the last, I'd argue possibly even alongside Tierney the last 2 seasons. He's been
I like Tierney a lot.
He's very good, both of them. So Tierney and Gabriel on that left-hand side make that side so much more solid, and that's why whoever plays for you on the left is going to be really key as to the type of game that they have in the game.
I think it's
You're going to have, probably Rashford. So against Mustafi and Bellerin, you've got a real chance on that side.
Get stuff over the side.
It's going to be really. They've got to stay so compact at the back. It's going to be, and I still think it has to be a back 4, but you can maintain compactiveness with that. But midfield pivot of Partey and Xhaka. I think Xhaka gets a lot of criticism that is hyperbolic, to be honest. He gets so much exaggerative criticism. His ability to pass the ball into the wide areas is key. He's slow on the turn. I get that. And a lot of people kind of see a player that's slow as a massive criticism. And the thing is with Xhaka is he keeps Arsenal ticking over. He keeps the game flowing and moving. And Arsenal don't really have any other midfielders that can do that besides now Partey if we give him the ball. The biggest question is who plays at 10. I'd like it to be Saka personally. I know that you guys were saying that you would like to see Saka on the wing. But Saka's arguably our most creative player behind us.
He's played well in the few games he's played in 10, by the way. I don't think people have kind of caught into that as much. He's been brilliant.
Exactly, and I think that you've got the opportunity for him to not be so predictable by playing in the middle. If he plays out, because his right foot isn't anywhere near as strong as his left, and so you've got the option, if you show him inside, it's either going to take a shot that's going to be weak on a weaker foot, or he's going to try and play a pass. If you play him in the middle, it gives him the option to drive at opposition defenders on the right-hand side and skew right and cut in, or you can cut to the left-hand side and then cut the ball back with a cross. It makes him less predictable. So then the front 3, you go, has to be Aubameyang through the middle for me. I agree with you 100% on that. And then Willian and Pepe on the wings. Pepe playing on left has been interesting because if he plays on the right, he always cuts inside. The defender knows exactly what Pepe's going to do if he plays right. You put Pepe on the left, again, like I just said with Saka, it gives him that element of unpredictability that he doesn't have playing on the right. He can also get the balls into the box that are low for Aubameyang to kind of poach, and that's his best areas when he's driving into the box and finishing those chances. And then Willian's, he's a weird one because he's coming in an amazing game against Fulham, and then since that point has dropped off. So
Ahmed was waxing lyrical after that, following him. Like, you signed, I don't know, Robinho in his prime or something.
Yeah, man. I never. This guy, you need to behave, bro.
Robinho's Kaka, man.
I was gassed.
You were like to Daniel, thank you for our Willian 3 assists, whatever nonsense you were going on about.
It's his defensive duties that I like, man.
Oh my God! Listen, for me personally, I've got to say, if you do put the lineup out, I would definitely be worried because I think Saka's got quality in abundance. I don't think any United fan doesn't appreciate Saka because as a club that loves to talk about youth players, I respect him for his ability, and Martinelli as well, by the way. Is quality. I know he's injured at the moment, but I'm a huge fan of Martinelli as well. I think again people have forgotten how good he was before he got injured. But yeah, just going back to the front line, Pepe on the left against Wan-Bissaka, that would be a brilliant battle, I've got to say, because Pepe is very tricky. Like, again, huge fan of Pepe's. I wanted him in Man United as well, actually. Huge fan of his. I think he's got quality in abundance. He just needs a run of games. I just don't understand why he's not getting a run of games. At the end of the day, sometimes you've got to just allow the player to adapt and give them that confidence to say, look, I'll back you even through the hard performances. And Arteta, for me, hasn't done that with him. I think
it's the defensive things. What Ahmed was saying about defensive duties. But then again, that's the way I want to play at the moment.
You're allowed to have one free role, man. Aubameyang doesn't need to be running back. Willian can do that. It's balance, man. Aubameyang and Pepe can switch into a 2 up front, off the ball, and you can drop Willian into the midfield and in a defensive shape. So he doesn't need to do that. Like you can work your way around these things. Keep Pepe and Aubameyang up top and allow Willian to track back because that's in his nature. So I personally think that would be a brilliant lineup from you guys, but I don't think they'll do that because it's too attacking. What are your thoughts, Ahmed? And obviously we'll come and get the main out perspective. Ahmed, in terms of your formation and your 1 to 11, what would you go for?
The tricky thing is, right, because we've got Partey, I want to show a bit like, 4 in the back and everything, but because it's Mustafi, I don't know if I want to actually do 4 in the back because any goals we can concede.
If you play 3 at the back, who's your 3 at the back? Because I don't actually know who's available for you lot. I'm pretty sure you got
I'll tell you how it's going to be. It'll be Gabriel in the middle, Mustafi on the right, and then Tierney on the left. And then when we left wing back, and then as we go forward.
I heard he played really well yesterday. Everyone was going on.
No, he didn't. Yeah, did he?
I don't know who I spoke to. They were raving about Nels and.
He normally does all right.
No, Nelson. It was Reece Nelson. He was on fire. Okay. Yeah, but he's a right winger, isn't it? It's a right winger. Yeah, but now, it's a left wing back. But obviously, that's what Arteta probably would do, anyways. But me personally, I'll put Tierney as a left back. I'll go 4 in the back. I'll try to trust Mustafi with Gabriel, and then right back Bellerin, and then centre mid. I'll put Partey in with. I'll be tempted to put Elneny in, but I'll favour Xhaka just because I like Xhaka's left foot. He's got some disgusting passes going forward.
He's got passes, didn't he? That deflection.
Yeah. Sorry, this guy.
I'm just telling you, he scored passes in the last game. He does well against Man United.
Oh right. So I'm said you. I think
he scored passes. Go on,
he's
a good player. He's a good player. And obviously, in the number 10 position, I'll put Willian in there. I want to see what he does for us in that position. And then obviously up top in the middle, Aubameyang with Saka on the left, and then Pepe on the right. I want to see Pepe go for Luke Shaw and end his career. But wait, what's happened to Telles though? Why is he not playing? Actually,
he's got COVID.
He's got COVID, right? Yeah.
So it's not fair. It would have been interesting to see how Telles defends against obviously a proper winger. But just coming, it's interesting to see that none of you put Lacazette in your team. I personally think that's a mistake. The reason I think it's a mistake is I'm not saying to put Aubameyang on the
French boy, bro.
No, it's not even that. If I was Arsenal, I'd go 3-5-2 generally and put Laka and Aubameyang up top together. That's what I would do personally. I know he's not going to do that. You're going to put Willian in the 10, and obviously he has his ability to, give a bit of energy in there. And then put Saka left wing back. He can play the anyways. It's not that much of a problem for him. I just think Lacazette's hold up. Lacazette plays well against Man United. Like, I know he doesn't score, but it's because De Gea's pulled off a worldie every time against him. I don't know how. Like, there was that one that I don't know if you remember when he made that double save of Sanchez and Lacazette. And I don't know how Lacazette didn't bloody score. He absolutely bulleted it, and the De Gea saved, and obviously Sanchez gets the rebound, and the De Gea saves that. Lacazette always plays well against us. Honestly, he really does. Like, for me as an outsider fan, I know he's not been brilliant recently, but he always does well against us, especially against Maguire and that. They seem to struggle with him because he's got ability to go in behind. He's a tricky player to mark. Like, his link-up play is actually quite good. But obviously you can't put Aubameyang on the wing in it. But listen, let's talk about Man United threat because we've not spoken much about what we've got going forward. I'm assuming we're both going for the diamond. Yeah. So before we do the formations, where do you think we can hit Arsenal, Ross?
Pretty much everywhere. literally, because after the RB Leipzig game, it just kind of everything just clicked into place because you just saw so many different avenues, so many different threats from the forwards, from what do you call it, Greenwood. Obviously, Rashford's going to start. Then you got Bruno and Pogba arriving to the box, and then you got Fred mopping up in the back, and even McTominay's energy as well. It's mental. You got Cavani off the bench, and you got Van de Beek there as well.
Van de Beek's going to be most likely.
I've not been this excited being a United fan for a few years, man. Let me tell you. But yeah, we've got too much threat, and Martial's obviously not going to play. But imagine he was there as well. Flipping hell, that's just mental. I don't know how Arsenal are going to defend. If they keep a clean sheet, anything like that, I'll probably commend them. Especially with the.
Listen, we're gonna go with 5 at the back. We're gonna go 5 at the back. We're gonna defend in dogged style, and then we're gonna get a smashing grab.
I think we, for the first time in a long time, we've got the personnel to actually unlock you. I know Usmaan probably thinks that's maybe not right.
I do agree.
Because I think Pogba is going to be the one that's going to be the key, because if he starts driving, he did that when he set up Greenwood against RB Leipzig.
3-4 players.
You cannot. He's so athletic and so big. You can't get it off him. Partey would be the only one probably could actually do something. With that'll be good, interesting battle as well. Be a good battle. I actually want to see that as a like a Vieira Keane type of thing. But
I don't think we're gonna get that. I don't think the
players exaggerate that, but that kind of quality, quality players, isn't it? So I think we can hit him in every single place in the midfield.
All right, I appreciate that.
I'm too positive, man.
Narrowing down really. I think for me personally, the key man is gonna. I suppose the midfield battle is always key, but I think it's gonna be Greenwood. Because, you've spoken about your defense and listened to your guys' team. If Greenwood's playing against Mustafi, honest to God, like, this kid is absolutely ruthless. Like, he scored his first Champions League shot ever. Like, it wasn't even an easy chance. Like, he's running away from goal and he's having to drag it across the opposite way. He's clinical. Like, Greenwood is very clinical. If Mustafi's asleep, he's going to be in trouble. And especially with Cavani on as well. Cavani's movement is going to kill you, man. Like, his intelligence, like, obviously Thiago Silva had to do a job when we played against Chelsea, but obviously they played with each other for like God knows how many years, seven years or so. So they kind of got that understanding of each other's game. But I think we've got a lot of threat running in behind. I think that's where you're gonna struggle and where we're gonna cause you problems.
Aubameyang against Maguire, I don't mind that. Is we both are suspects.
No, I've not denied that once. I think Aubameyang. The problem is, right, and I'll go into our lineup and I'll explain why I've chosen the lineup. Diamond, I'm assuming West is going to choose the same back 5 as me, to be fair, but I'll say anyways. David De Gea in there, Wan-Bissaka, Twan Sabi is the key for this game in terms of, because I don't know if you saw how he did against Mbappe and Neymar. He literally pocketed them both. Like, they couldn't even get anything off him. Like, he's quick, like, very, very quick. He kept up to Mbappe for pace, and that's a testament to anybody. So, for me, if he plays there with Wan-Bissaka, I don't think Aubameyang is going to get much joy. If he doesn't play and it's Lindelof Maguire, then it's a different game, isn't it? But anyways, I got Twan Sabi Maguire. Left back, I'm going for Luke Shaw. Obviously, Ahmed, you got to go. Just read it in your text. Peace, my brother. Obviously, wait, before you go, Ahmed, give me your score prediction. Obviously, what are you saying?
I feel so ashamed to say it, but 2-2. I think that's what's going to happen. Is it at Old Trafford? Is it at Old Trafford? Yeah. 2-2.
2 is a good result for you. I don't know what Tom thinks about that, but if I was asked, I'd take that away from home.
One penalty for you guys. Yeah, realistic result. Realistic.
All right, fair enough. I can't deny it. Both teams can't defend to the last. But anyway, midfield 4, Diamond, so to speak. Obviously, I already mentioned it, so don't need to go over it again. And then Greenwood and Rashford up top. Watson, you got something similar or different?
No, it's the same. It's the same.
All right, okay, fair enough. I thought so. So let's just wrap it up.
See you.
Tom, yes. Tom, where do you think Man United can hurt you? Where do you think we can exploit your weaknesses?
I mean, that's sometimes pretty everywhere, really. I mean, that is it is scary what the sort of side that you're putting together. What I will say is, like, whilst the Leipzig game was certainly, like, it was impressive, and that the word that you used to describe Greenwood kind of summed up your game against Leipzig, and that was clinical. And what I would say is that Leipzig weren't clinical in that game, and listening to what Rafa Honigstein was saying after the game is that whilst it was an impressive performance from Manchester United and it was a 5-0 scoreline, if Leipzig had been more clinical at the start of the game, it could have been very different. And I felt like as soon as you scored sort of those early goals, it meant that Leipzig had to come at you and they had to attack you. And that's what's going to be the difference in this game, is if Arsenal concede early, then you'll win. And I wouldn't be surprised if you won by a fair few goals, because if you score against us, then we've got to come out and we've got to try and score. If Arsenal score early, it's the complete flip and opposite, because these teams are so similar in terms of the defensive frailties and their vulnerabilities that if one team comes out, the other team has got such a good chance to score with the quality that they've got in the forward lines. Yeah. So if it's I think it'll be whoever scores early wins the game. There won't be any turnarounds and comebacks. It will be whoever scores first will probably win this game. I'm going to be confident from an Arsenal optimistic perspective and go 2-1 Arsenal and thinking we're going to score first, but it is a long shot. But this is the game that I identified as the best chance of Arsenal ending that horrific run away from home against Big Six sides. So I'm optimistic that we can do something, but it will be on whoever scores that early goal.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. We were saying the same thing, myself and Watson, on the group chat. The first goal is pivotal, because I think for me personally, if you guys score first and you become compact, you sit back and have Aubameyang to run in behind, with that ball from Xhaka in particular into the channel, that he normally kind of whips into the left part of the left wing, so to speak. He does it consistently for Aubameyang to get on. I think that's going to be that's Arsenal's best way of winning this game for me personally. Get that early goal, wherever it may be, so to speak, and then you can easily win this game. I think it's that simple, because I don't think we're as good as people are saying. Yes, we were fantastic against RB Leipzig, but one thing I know about this Man United team is we are very sporadic, we're very inconsistent. We've had moments where we put in these kind of performances, and then the game after, the players just don't look up for it. The one thing about the RB Leipzig game is, from minute one, for the first time in a long time, every single player in our team was pressing. Everyone was winning and battling for every single ball. There wasn't this lethargic manner. And are the players going to be that hungry in the game? That is the question. Are they going to be up for this game? And if they're not, like you guys did the first game, the game that you beat us 2-0, I was going into that game expecting to win as well. And I remember going into that game expecting to beat Arsenal, and you absolutely battered us. We didn't turn up at all, and Arteta fully outplayed us, like, in every part of the word. So that's why I'm not getting too carried away, because we are prone to these shit performances. So in saying that, though, I just hope he plays the diamond. If he plays the diamond, we're going to win this game in terms of midfield battle. And as everyone knows who watches football, the game is won and lost in midfield. So for that reason, I'm going to say 2-0 to Man United. Again, it's a bit of a random one with a clean sheet, but I just don't think Arsenal are creating that many chances at the moment. I think if we score first, obviously 2-0 suggests that we will score first, then we're going to have a lot of space to get that second goal with Rashford, Bruno and co. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you made some valid points there. I think I can't see Arsenal scoring for some reason. But then again, I've said this in the past and they actually won. Do you know what I mean? It's like one of those, isn't it? But because, I mean, I know I don't want to keep on going back on the RB Leipzig, but something clicked in our teams. There was like the formation felt right. The people in the spots, the actual positions, like Pogba, left side of midfield, all that business, everyone was in the right place, and everyone played with confidence. It was a total team performance from minute one to the end, didn't it? And even the player that came on made a massive difference. They exploited their weaknesses. And you're talking about Upamecano and Konate here. That first goal that Greenwood scored was clinical.
Rashford's first
that first goal that Greenwood scored, Usmaan, he's actually turned, like, he's gone past Upamecano there, and he's buried that. So if you got Mustafi there, he's not going to be nowhere near the pace difference. I'm not just taking the piss here, but you got to look at that. I know the players. Upamecano's like an up and coming talent. I mean, United won it as well, but these are against top team, top system, top manager, top defense. Yeah. Proper total team, and we've just annihilated them. You've got to take that into consideration. Rashford's ready to go. He's fed the kids. Now he's going to come and feed you guys as well. So I think, I'm going to go for a 4-0. I am confident, but I'm actually going to go. And you know what? The scary thing, it could be more. It could be more. It actually could be more. That's the weird thing. And I think we're just too strong. I absolutely think you can laugh all you want, Usmaan, but most of the time I'm pretty right.
No, you're not. 4-0.
Just clip this.
There's no way.
4-0. It could be more. Okay, I'm warning you. It could be more.
Right, we can't finish the show there, Tom. You've got to say something to that. You said 4.
Tom knows. Tom knows it could be 4-0.
Like tactically speaking, if, as I said earlier, if you score early on, there is nothing stopping this being. If you score early on, there's nothing stopping this from being a really horrific scoreline for Arsenal. There really isn't. If Arsenal hold you to 0-0 at half time, I think United get worried. I think spaces start opening up, and I think that it will turn into United thinking this is a better point because of how Arsenal have sort of defended so well. If the longer it stays at 0-0, it suits Arsenal much better. So the first half is so key in this game from a tactical standpoint. I agree with us that it could be 4-0. It could be more than that if you score early. It's going to be a battle of tactics in this game. It's going to be a really sort of tactical affair of just two managers trying to work out what the other team are going to do. Because the thing is, with both sides, they're so unpredictable. Both sides are so unpredictable with their form, how they turn up, which players are on form, whether Partey actually gels and does get into this team immediately. That is going to be huge. Whether Mustafi has a blinder, which he has done in games when Arteta first came in, he completely turned Mustafi around and he looked a completely different player. However, he's just returned from an injury and his first appearance was against Leicester and he was the reason why we lost the game.
He's not really fully fit, is it?
No, exactly. So
we've made a big. It's the speed that's going to get him. We're too quick.
Yeah, exactly. On the turn. That's why the thing is, I don't actually think Mustafi's the biggest key then on that side. It's going to be Bellerin. If Bellerin leaves Mustafi on his own by running up the pitch and not getting back,
against Rashford.
Bellerin can recover quickly, but if he leaves him, then he's going to get exposed, and that'll be the key on that hand side. But I think our left-hand side's pretty locked down with Tierney and Gabriel on that side. Gabriel is so he shut down Liverpool, and I know we lost both of those games, but it wasn't on our left-hand side that we lost it. Gabriel shut them down on that side, and he's looking like a real talent. So I'm worried. I'm really worried, but I'm an optimistic guy. So 2-1 to the Arsenal. I'm laughing saying it, but yeah.
Oh God, no! Fair play to you, man. I can't knock it. We got a comment here from Bacchus saying Mustafi is better than John Terry. It's completely
right now? Right now?
Right at this minute.
As he's right at home, he's better than John Terry. But Mustafi Bakker is. Sorry, a Chelsea fan, so he's taking the piss, definitely. Greenwood is young and... Oh, sorry, I read the wrong comment. That's the wrong one. Greenwood should start striker. He's quicker than Cavani. And Rashford, that first goal was unbelievable. Completely agree. Did we not say this last year? We would beat Arsenal and the beat was easier. Exactly what I was saying. That's my concern. I remember specifically going into that game thinking, we should beat Arsenal. Arteta's new, etc. He's still, he's still settling in, and you comfortably beat us. So that is definitely my worry. So away from home, we've got that sort of bugbear off our shoulder in terms of we haven't won a game at Old Trafford for 5 games, and everyone was tweeting it, posting it, every single place. But thankfully, we got the job done against RB Leipzig. But listen, I just want to wrap up the show there. Overall, Mustafi is better than John Terry. He's won the World Cup. To be fair, that is true. He has won the World Cup, so fair play to him. I don't know how, but it is what it is. Anyways, just want to say a massive thank you to our special guest today, Tom. Thank you very much, bro. As always, before we go, opportunity for you to let the people know where they can find you on your socials.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It's been a real pleasure to speak to you. Some level-headed Man United, well, nearly level-headed.
Yeah, what's the point?
You looked at us one there.
He definitely looked at me when I said 2-0, but it is what it is.
But no, real pleasure, guys. At the Gooner Talk TV is where you find us, and at 101 Great Goals is my day job writing. So yeah, check us out over there.
Love to see it. As always, as I say, Waz looks after the Facebook page. So check out the links below for the Facebook page. Obviously, drop a like on that. Share, obviously, subscribe to the channel. And let us know your score predictions. That's what we want to see in the comment section down below. Apart from that, it's been your host, Usmaan. We'll be back on Sunday with the watch along. If it's 4-0, I'm going to be Ahmed.
No, it could be more. It could be 7.
Anyways, I must just calm down.
I'll be blocking you
if we lose this, it's just going to be so embarrassing. Anyways,